Welcome back to the Play It Down Sports Podcast, episode 13. We're your hosts, Scott and Tom. First up, more boneheaded, clueless actions of the week.
Plenty to choose from.
Plenty to choose from this week. Also, on the golf front, we have a little Ryder Cup warm-up, the Procore Championship, and the BMW PGA Championship. We have the 24 Ryder Cup participants, 21 playing in those two tournaments. We have
Which is
Xander.
Very unusual for this time of year.
Very unusual.
But it's a good warm-up,
So,
yeah.
do you remember 2 years ago? The big knock on the USA team was that none of them played in a tournament 5 weeks leading up to the Ryder Cup. But we have Xander's out with a back issue. Sepp Straka's wife had a baby, so he's out. And Bryson, well, they said, no, you can stay home because they won't let him play. Then we have football. We move on to...
We could have played with the guys over in England, maybe.
He could have.
Yeah.
He could. Patrick Reed is playing in that tournament. We have some early overreactions and some early takeaways from week 1. More picks as well for week 2 and week 3 of the college and NFL season. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, follow us on Instagram at Play It Down Golf for all of our picks. You can also catch us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. This show is for entertainment purposes only, so bet responsibly. We also have a few shout-outs this week. First, I want to thank Billy for his comment. He would like us to out the 4th player from our Clueless segment last week.
I don't think we could do that.
We're not going to do that. He was a very nice gentleman. He was clueless, which is why he was in our Clueless segment, but he's a very nice person. We also had a nice little comment from your brother.
Yeah, I played golf with him yesterday at Mount Tabor, and one of his suggestions was, before we played that round would be, hey, what if you had a list of the 5 worst spots that you could put yourself in on a golf course? It's not like out of bounds type or where it's clearly bad, but like locations where you're really going to struggle to be able to make the next shot.
Oh, I like that.
It might be an angle where you got to come in from or
where to
whatever.
miss, where not to miss, or where to try to miss it if you are going to miss.
Right.
I mean, I hit it straight right down the middle every time. So,
right. But there's certain bunkers that might be unusually bad to be in or other locations. So there's something we could give some thought to, I think.
I think so as well. I think it's a great suggestion. We can definitely come up with a couple of things for that. Yep. Yeah, I like that. Well, anything else?
Yeah, we have a new hat. So we have this one came from Rob Cantrell, Phoenix Insurance Group, a company he works for, which does life and health insurance and property and casualty, and he's got the logo of the Phoenix on the front.
Let me see that. That's a good logo.
Yeah, it's a good logo. Now it
might be a little hard to see.
It's a little hard to see, but we're gonna put it up here with the Dave Gordon hat because we love to have extra hats. And speaking of hats, it looks like you have one on.
I do have a new one, courtesy of you and our Circa Millions contest. Or is this Westgate? Nope, this is the Circa Millions.
I've got the Westgate.
You got the Westgate. I got the Circa Millions on. We'll talk a little bit about our Circa NFL bets later on when we do some Week 1 takeaways. But yeah, I'm loving that.
Good looking hat.
I love the little rope look on that. I'm not gonna lie, this will be definitely making the rotation on the golf course.
Excellent. Especially when we win. When we win the Circa Millions, right?
And then we'll
need multiple hats.
We'll have lots of hats.
Yeah.
Grab your beverage of choice. Let's play it down. Well,
what do we have tonight? You got another Stella in there?
I gotta do Stella. I gotta keep.
You gotta keep the La Bianca.
La Bianca. I gotta keep him happy.
Yeah.
He listens. He's a valuable member of the audience.
Most of the time. Most of the time he listens.
I think he listens. He comments. So yes, I got a little Stella going again tonight. It is so good. I'm not gonna lie. It's so cold too. A little warm down here in the studio.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
So I've got a red wine as usual, Cabernet, and this particular bottle comes from a buddy of mine up in Lima. It's up in Lima, New York. So he basically, his grandparents owned a farm, and it was named the Willow Patch. And so what he did is after that, named after that his own. He does this as a private reserve. You can see that on the label. And his wife actually had this label made for him. Obviously, the 2015 has got to get crossed off, right? And with whatever year he actually makes the wine, but it's an awesome wine. I'm enjoying it right out of the gate here. Thanks Tommy Tatakis for the free bottle and a great job making your own wine. He also makes a white wine, a Riesling white wine. I think the feedback is the red is better than the white, but
Yeah,
we
I'm
can
not a
debate
white.
that.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't like white wine, so. But that is very nice.
yeah,
Private reserve. You're stepping up the game here.
yeah. It's different than what I've had before. So
No more stupid wine
and I
club.
think
Now you're getting them hand delivered.
he reduces the tannins in it too, so it's supposed to not give you as much of a hangover. I'm not sure how true that is based on history, but
All
all
right.
right, yep,
You ready?
we are.
Here we go. Boneheaded Clueless Actions of the week.
Oh wow,
Where should we
we
start?
had a lot to choose.
We
from.
had a lot to choose from this week.
I mean, we have actually some runner-ups, I think, this week, like Sunbelt Billy down in Florida, Dave Tepper's team. I think they would probably make the list during most weeks, the way they blew that game and mismanaged the clock against Southern Miss at the end.
We even have some takeaways of what is with these coaches blowing end game scenarios.
I don't know. I don't understand
It's amazing.
Yeah, because they know their X's and O's. And speaking of that, we're going to have the first one is not really a mismanagement of the game because the final score in this game was 69-3. So where the boneheaded and cluelessness comes in is from Oklahoma State coach Mike Gundy. And he decided that it would be a good idea to actually tweak Oregon before the game on how much they're spending on their program versus how much that Oklahoma State spends. And his comment was, I'm going to read it right here, that Oregon in 1 year has spent 5 times the amount of money that his team has spent in 3. Now, I don't know what that proves to talk about the money that you spend versus Oregon spend, other than you're sort of criticizing the fact that they're buying their team.
But everyone is.
Everyone's doing that. So basically, he should be.
Sounds jealous.
Yeah, he should be. I mean, I don't understand why you would mention that before the game. And then so now what happens is that throws gasoline on the fire, and Oregon decides that they're going to prove that they spend 5 times the amount of money that he spent on his program. And they go out and they beat him 69-3. And to top it off, Gundy said, he's not sure my rookie quarterback is going to be able to handle the noise in the stadium. And this poor kid,
What is he doing?
this poor kid is making his first college start. His name is Zane Flores. And Oregon is just running, I think it was 69-3. And then we're still got the whole fourth quarter. And then Dan Lanning decided at that point, boat raced. Dave Gordon boat raced, his favorite term.
Yes.
That was another comment. He's been explaining what boat race means. This was a boat racing, 69-3.
Do people not know what boat racing mean? Or is that really just a golf term?
I don't know. It appears that some people don't. I don't understand it. But if you don't understand it, maybe you should do some research on it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mike Gundy, congratulations. You're awarded the number 3 clueless bonehead of the week.
Now, we going more clueless or more I think it's more boneheaded than clueless.
It's boneheaded. The clueless in this part is like, especially with a quarterback thing, are you not aware of what you are doing to your team, your quarterback, your program, inciting Oregon? Like, it felt clueless for him to make that sequence of statements.
Yeah, it kind of fits both categories.
It does. It's more boneheaded than clueless, though, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 2. Well, this is
we're going up to Denver, right?
Going up to Denver.
Yeah. And by the way, for all of the 38% in circus survivorship that had picked Denver,
I was one.
Yep. And I think we had 3 of our 7 entries on them, and there's survivorships all over. And I'll bet you it's between 30 and 40% in almost every contest. Had to sweat out this game that was like watching paint dry if you were not had any betting interest in it, which we did, obviously. you got two knuckleheads here. Maybe we should be calling them boneheaded knuckleheads and clueless. So we got Sean Payton and Brian Callahan, right? Brian Callahan is the Tennessee Titan coach. And he probably is the one that would to me, is really going to get the clueless component of this.
100%.
Right. So he's got a rookie quarterback, Cam Ward, starting the game, playing a game against one of the most lethal defenses in the league.
I think
in Mile High Stadium, starting his first
defense
game
in the league.
Right. So he does two things that to me made no sense. Right. And I'm listening to this game coming back from a college golf tournament that I didn't mention earlier, but maybe we'll talk about a minute later on when we get into some golf at the end. But the score of that game is 6-3. And right before half, the Titans have the ball and they have the lead. And instead of running out the clock, he has his quarterback from his own 7 throw 2 incomplete passes and then get sacked. They have to punt, and Denver predictably scores.
Who just did that? Was that we talked about the other day? Was that Colorado where he was throwing the ball?
Oh, there was a Colorado-Georgia Tech game where there was some craziness that happened with it.
There was someone that did the same thing. They threw the ball 2 times and didn't take
Billy
any clock.
Napier did it.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, Sunbelt Billy did it. He almost made the list and lost to Southern Miss. But instead, so now, not to be topped by that stupidity, Sean Payton's team kicks off, gets a face mask call. There's 16 seconds left, and they somehow gave a field goal back to the Titans and led 10-9 at halftime. Now, if you're watching this and you've got Denver in a survivorship pool and you see these two inept guys, I mean, Sean Payton's a great X's and O's guy, but he doesn't necessarily manage games very well either. So now we're at 10-9 and we move to the second half. And now we get to some more boneheaded plays where Callahan player catches the ball, lands in bounds because he lands on his elbow.
Elbows down.
And decides not to challenge. Nobody understands why. And he explains after the game that, why didn't you? And he said, well, you need to have 2 feet down.
Well, what he was trying to say was, you don't need 2 feet down. You needed at least 1 foot down, even if the elbow was down. Yeah, well, and that would have been out of bounds, so it wasn't worth challenging.
Right. He basically, whether it's 1 or 2 feet, he didn't view the elbow as being in the field of play.
2 feet. Now, mind you, everybody knows 1 elbow. How many times have you heard?
Equals 2 feet.
Equals 2 feet.
So now we've got that going on. So he doesn't challenge it and gives away that long completion when his quarterback has needed it and has been, and Denver turned the ball over 4 times, and Tennessee, I think, only once. And it was unbelievable how inept this game was.
I did not watch this game.
It was a complete ineptitude. So then to finalize the bonehead, this goes back to Peyton now. He's up 20-12, and you're like, okay, we're finally going to get there. And he decides first he's going to go for it in his own territory on 4th down and give the ball to the Titans inside of midfield. Stops them. And then he has the ball at the end of the game and has a good kicker, Lutz, set up for a 53-yarder to seal it, and decides he's going to go for it, doesn't get the first down, and gives Tennessee a shot to go down and potentially tie the game because it's a 1-score game. And so now we've got the two boneheads are shaking hands. It looked like they might as well have taken their heads and boneheaded each other.
I think right here in this picture, I think they're both saying, I think I screwed up. And then the other one says, no, I think I did. And then the other one goes, I think it was me. They don't know who screwed up.
Yeah, because they're boneheads and they're clueless.
Because they're both idiots.
So anyway, that's number 2.
That's number 2. What could possibly be number 3 from this week?
Number 3. We go to Philadelphia.
Billy. There she is.
Yes.
Philadelphia Karen. Billy Karen.
Yep.
What an absolute boneheaded person.
Yes. And clueless.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you know, there tends to be cameras on these things.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
And not only that, but you can listen to the videotape of what she's saying as she approaches this guy, demanding that he return a baseball that he got off a home run.
Off home run that she never possessed.
Never possessed. but somehow she viewed him as somehow having grabbed that ball in her section, whatever that meant. You've seen people scramble for a ball, foul ball, home run.
Absolutely.
Whoever gets it first, survival of the fittest. Whoever gets
Absolutely.
it first gets the ball. Now, if he'd gone up and grabbed it out of her
If
hand,
she had it in her hand,
yes,
he's the bonehead.
right. But that's not what
That's
happened.
not
here.
what happened.
So,
And now, mind you, he didn't jump over anyone. He didn't jump over a row of chairs. He simply walked from here to there.
and got the ball.
And no one, the seating was empty. So he was not sitting in front of her.
It was unbelievable. And then he gives the ball to his son. And now suddenly she comes storming over from, stands away from seats away, demanding the ball. That ball was she was entitled to that ball because it was in her. And she used several curse words. And she gave the crowd the finger later. And the guy gave her the ball.
Gave her the ball?
He gave her the ball and,
She took the ball from a father.
Unbelievable. So I think I think the player hit the home run, signed a ball, gave it to the kid.
Gave him a bat, I think, too.
Yeah, I mean,
the kid
they
got,
came out of it
kid
pretty
got
good.
lit.
He might even have tickets to a World Series. I think he does.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, that I didn't know. Well, good for it. Well, first off, good for him. For the father trying to de-escalate this crazy woman.
Yes, right.
Because I know
De-escalation,
all of us
we
probably
could use some of that right now.
all of us don't probably give that ball back. But I do give him credit for at least doing that and just de-escalating, and it worked out in their favor in the end. And she's clearly
and
a vile.
Billy Karen got the ball.
Billy Karen got the ball. I hope it's on display for her.
Anyway, congratulations to Philly Karen for being the number one
boneheaded of the week.
Bonehead
Congratulations, clueless person of the week.
Yeah, if you're watching, Philly Karen, I hope you're enjoying this segment. Yeah,
we don't have a number to call in, but call in. All right, well, you will move on to our NFL Week 1 takeaways. We survived, which is really the key to our circuit contest. You have some numbers here.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's multiple contests. The one we're talking about here is the survivorship.
The survivorship.
And there was 18,745 entries in this contest. So it is an $18.7 million pot. And there was, about a little under 3% of the field, which is roughly 600 people, got eliminated. And there were various reasons for it. Some people try to take some long shots to try to, and hope that the more favored teams lose, like that happened last year.
Yes, it did.
Some people, I think,
crushed.
decided maybe to get a little too aggressive with teams that they picked. There was 24 people that didn't even put a pick in, which is, it does happen.
Yeah.
But you sign up for this thing, you expect everyone's going to be in the first week, and there were some that just were not. So, there were people that had the Bears on Monday night and went down in flames with that. So there was some picks out there that were, again, a little more risky. And the people that went down.
Some people took the Giants?
I don't know if anyone took the Giants. If they did, it would have been there was a few, because, again, there were people who really believed that the Giants had a shot to beat the Commanders. And the Commanders were a common pick. So there might have been a few that took them. I didn't identify. I think there was a handful.
I heard you mention the Giants, and
but
I think it was like 8 people.
Yeah,
but still.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just about every team's going to have one or two people, right? So yeah, that's sort of the update on that circa contest.
And then we have Baltimore at Buffalo. I had that labeled Game of the Year, and I was like, you can't have Game of the Year in Week 1,
right?
But what a game! It could become the Game of the Year. Just one unbelievable game. That fourth quarter was unreal.
Yeah, and I still think that in some ways, the coaching kind of comes into play again. John Harbaugh, as good a coach as he is, has found ways to mismanage games in the fourth quarter.
A little too conservative,
and Buffalo, to their credit, took advantage of everything that came their way, including the fumble, right, by Derrick Henry, the conservative.
Who was just on a tear.
Oh, my God. They ran through Buffalo like they didn't have a defense.
It was unreal.
Yeah. And I certainly was happy with the result, and so are some of the listeners who are Bills fans. But Baltimore actually dominated that game and lost. It's
Yes.
like a team dominating a soccer game
And
and losing 1-0 when they've had the better of the play the
they had
whole
like
time.
150 yards rushing, and this first half wasn't over yet. It was like something weird.
Yeah.
Like it was, they were
Lamar did whatever he
unreal. Between
wanted.
Lamar and Derrick Henry, they
Yeah.
were just slicing and dicing.
Yeah, that Bill defense didn't look very good. But they come through with an amazing win, and I almost turned it off. And
What
then
about the people that left?
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Allen calling out the people that left.
Yeah.
That
Well,
was
he should have
awesome.
been. He should be.
Well, A, they should be called out.
Yeah.
And B, I don't blame
And
them
I
for
can't
leaving.
believe to be but they're Bills fans. Normally they don't leave games
That is
early.
true. That is true. And I did have up here end game scenarios. We already spoke about a couple of them, obviously with Peyton and not kicking the field goal. But I put that up there mainly for Chicago. 2 minutes, 2 seconds left.
That was
You just score. You got to get the ball
on
back.
purpose. You actually pushed it to get that into the end zone.
Yes.
Right? To get the free timeout.
You want to be on the other side of the 2 minutes to get the free timeout.
Yep.
So Ben Jones tells his kicker to kick it through the end zone. I have 2 problems with this. One, you better know for sure that your kicker can actually kick it through the end zone.
Yep.
And if you don't know that, you tell him to kick it out of bounds. I don't care if he kicks it 20 yards and out of bounds.
You don't want anything to expire that clock.
You cannot let those 2 seconds go off the clock.
Yeah,
let alone 3.
That's just a mathematical,
it's a little quirk.
Right.
That's all it is.
And you have to be assured that your kicker is able to do whatever it takes to not run any seconds off.
Listen, he booted it. The guy ran it out of the end zone 8 yards deep.
The Minnesota guy looked at his coach.
He did.
The coach said, take it out. He took it out.
And took it out.
And they lost the timeout.
And that was it. And then they get the ball back. They get the 3 and out, but they get the ball back with
it was less
20
than,
seconds,
it was inside
19
of 20
seconds, something like that, instead of having a possible 52 or 55 seconds left. So these end game scenarios just keep cropping up.
Yeah. And now some of the games at the end, it doesn't matter, but the coach and the quarterback to win games down the stretch, it's not that insightful to make that statement, but it just keeps proving itself in every.
There should be like a little bat phone on every sideline where Peyton Manning can just call in and tell them what to do at the end of the game. Or like a Tom Brady, because these guys just knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. So some early takeaways from week 1. Now, how about a couple of overreactions? I like these. I have, should the Giants start the dart era early?
Yeah, it was rough watching Russ on Sunday. He could drive him down the field a couple times, couldn't get it in the end zone. I don't know that I'd make that move after 1 week. I think it's just too much of a. Now, Dable might get fired before Russ gets benched.
That is true. I also threw up here, should Cleveland dump their kicker?
Nah, kickers always take the brunt of everything. The guy missed a key. Luckily for us, we survived in a couple survivorships because
100%.
I went back to the well with the Bengals thinking they're finally going to get an easy win this year because everyone doesn't think they're gonna, and they didn't.
And they didn't.
They got the win, but it wasn't easy.
It took a missed extra point and a missed field goal for them to win by 1. And then, listen, it's year 3. Bryce Young. Is it too early to say he's a bust?
I give him another game or two because he did play well at the end last year. And he played against a team I think that's kind of on the rise. And now he's got to go out and play Arizona. And that could be another one of those games with that defense that he struggles.
He's struggle.
And what it starts to feel like is this guy just able to play against these fierce defenses? And there's a lot of them this year. Denver's, Minnesota's, right? And Carolina's not going to face as many fierce defenses in the South in their division.
In their own division, right?
But you can't put a guy in a game and have him collapse against defenses that are, intense. And that's what I think. Jacksonville's defense is very good, and it was on the road. But it is kind of a good question. I think. When's it going to run out?
When's it going to run out? Again, 21 games, 27 touchdowns, 21 picks. It's not a good ratio. So a couple of overreactions as well. Let's move on. A
Yeah, I
good
like
topic
that.
to
I like that
discuss.
card.
We
Yeah.
love this card. So, as you know, last week we had our college picks. They were abysmal. We both went over for the week on our 3 picks. So we dipped into the
We
well again
rebounded.
and
Yeah.
rebounded pretty spectacularly, if you ask me. Um, I'll go over my picks real quick. Illinois over Duke. It was actually a bigger blowout than I really predicted, but Illinois covered. Baylor over SMU.
You
Actually,
got lucky on that one, right?
we did. Actually, I did. You didn't have them. They came back, and
Two
then
touchdowns
2
down.
touchdowns in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter. They tied it up late, very late, and then obviously they both score in the first overtime and the second overtime. They get a stop or a missed field goal by SMU, and then Baylor makes a field
Yeah.
goal and they win by 3 outright. And obviously, I was getting 2.5. Oklahoma, Michigan. This was probably the easiest game that I was able to actually enjoy and watch because, yes, the score at times, Michigan kind of could have crept in and maybe made this a little closer. Maybe even got the didn't let the cover work, or Oklahoma
Right.
would have lost by less than 5.5. But at no point did I ever feel Michigan really was.
You felt like Oklahoma was in command.
They were in
Yeah.
command of that game. I watched the second half. I was at the Coastal Carolina this weekend with my daughter for Parents Weekend.
That was an exciting game, huh?
That game, there was an unbelievable halftime show, Tom. They had a whole drone show.
Is that what we're talking about? Is a halftime show?
Because it's the only entertaining point of that entire game. That it was so
You're
bad.
saying fade Coastal Carolina is what you're really saying.
I'm saying so that I think they're getting 7.5. You could give me 20 points. I would
Against
take
East
them.
Carolina, I think
Yes,
they're
against
playing.
the ECU they're playing this weekend. So those are my picks. I'm happy to be 3-3 after 2 weeks.
It's a subtle pick for anybody listening, even though I don't think it's on our card later.
It's not on mine.
I mean, what I would say about mine is, first of all, I was away this last weekend playing golf with the college buddies. And I do want to have a quick shout out here to Rich Kelly, who we talked about Tom's wine. Tom Tatakis' wine. Rich actually was the winner for the first time. This is our 25th year of doing that. So after the golf on Saturday was my only chance driving over to, afterwards we were going to get together for the cookout and all of that. Was to check in on the games. And other than that, I had very little chance to do so. This Navy UAB game, I was able to put on Sirius Radio, and they had multiple delays because of the weather. And this game had 48 points at halftime.
Yep.
24 all with, I think, 2 delays in the first half.
I actually stopped caring about it when I saw the halftime score.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, Tom's safe.
Right. Well, we were, because it got to 62 very quickly. The final score was 38-24. But they went the whole fourth quarter without a score, and these two teams were going up and down the field, and I think the rain and the delays, and then the halftime, and then it just started to drag the day on, and it wasn't good for scoring. And in fact, it would have been probably a great second half under. But anyway, it hit. It was a winner. We talked about the Chipwich game. Chipwich is going to be our new.
You were dead on with that game.
Chipwich, and we're going to call it Chipwich instead of Sandwich game. Yep. That La Tech LSU played out exactly the way expected. LSU wins at 23-7. Ho hum, you're getting 37.5.
Was never in doubt.
21-point cover there.
Yeah, never in doubt.
A shout out to a guy I work with, Tim Shepard, who's a listener of ours on this. He played on these picks, and he was telling me today, and I didn't know this. I knew that Mississippi State was ahead 17-0 in this game. I did not, for this game, go back and do a ton of review. I saw Mississippi State obviously won the game, but Arizona State had battled all the way back to 17 all and got down to the 1 yard line, settled for a field goal to go up 3, which with the time left was probably why Kenny Dillingham did it, was, hey, let's take the win. He found a way to botch, again, post-game closing, botch how he managed the end of the game with coverage, and allowed I think on a blitz package of some sort, allowed a long bomb touchdown Receiver got behind the defense, and I don't know how much time was left, but not very much. And Mississippi State winds up winning the game outright. So you could have done a money line, but they also could have lost 24-17 very, very easily. So,
but turns out as a winner.
Yep. So that summarizes that, and brings the 3-0 week. I don't really like seeing the 0-3.
I didn't either.
I almost forgot about that.
It's gone. Never to be discussed again, because we'll never have another 0-3 week.
Yeah, let's hope.
Fingers crossed. All right, so now let's look at this week's college football. Oh, and here I am doing my old hands. College football and NFL picks, my nervous picks. Why don't you start us off?
You want me to start? Okay.
Yeah, why don't you start us off? I always start us off.
All right, so I've got 3 picks up there, right? So we have a total again, and then we have two sides. Now, I normally don't like to lay points in these games, especially more than 7. It's sort of a rule I have in the back of my head. But this UConn, unless you think it's really going to be a wide finish, like I thought about USC this week against Purdue, and I quickly abandoned that. It was 3 touchdowns, and it was a conference game.
I saw that,
and Purdue's a little bit better this year. So UConn played Syracuse last week, right, in the Dome and the Wireless Center, and the Huskies were ahead the entire game, 17-6. And my brother was at the game. I'm just glad I didn't have to sweat that out with Syracuse getting the win.
I had them.
Because I'm a fan of them, not because I had a bet on it. And UConn wound up covering that game. Okay. Syracuse wound up covering that game, but they were down 17-6 in the fourth quarter. UConn is a very, kind of stingy team. They're undervalued. And they were basically up 17-6. It got to overtime at 20-all, and then UConn loses at 27-20 in overtime. You're playing against Delaware. Now, Delaware went out to play Colorado. Colorado beat them 31-7, 24-point win. Not super, super impressive, but Delaware played a nobody in week 1, right? So they're not a strong team. They are home. But I feel like UConn is just so much the stronger team. Box score has them winning this game by 18 to 20 points. And they're superior enough where they ought to control and dominate this game. So I looked at this, it kept eating at me, and I finally said, I'm going to lay. And then I said, if I can get it at 10 or less, I'm going to take it. Now, if you got to lay 10.5, I don't know if I feel as good about it. But I think you could play it between 10 and 14, and feel pretty good about it. But I liked not having that hook on it. I think some of the sites right now are at 10.5. Okay, now we go down to South Carolina. I'm going to take one more time. I'm going to, fade the O'Leary's Gamecocks, right?
I actually am as well.
I suffered with the Virginia Tech bet in week 1. And by the way, I think we might want to go back. I'm not sure we were 0-3. We might have been 1-3, but I'm not going to contest that.
No,
because you are the stat guy on this.
Yeah, no, I did check. I checked before.
But I know that was one of the 3 losses. Let's just put it that way. And the Vanderbilt team destroyed Virginia Tech last week, and in Virginia Tech. Mm-hmm. So what we have here is we have a common opponent. You can't really use that as your sole handicapping. But the Gamecocks were up 17-11 against Virginia Tech, and then they beat them 24-11 with sort of a late fourth quarter cover. Neutral site. Neither team was that impressive to me, but I think Virginia Tech got really exposed by losing to Vanderbilt by 24 points on their home field after they were up 20-10. Yeah. They got beat in the second half.
Yep.
34-0, lost 44-20. And their quarterback, I may even be throwing a little pizza money on him to win the Heisman. I think he's like 150-1, Pavia. He was the guy that brought them back. They almost beat Alabama last year. They had some great wins and close losses. They are a legitimate team, and they're proving it again this year. So you give me 4.5. I know this is going to be at South Carolina. It's a night game. These fans are going to be jacked up on their sweet tea and some stuff inside the sweet tea for 12 hours, and it's not going to be pleasant to go in there as a road team and play them. I know that. But I think the Vanderbilt is the stronger team, and you're going to give me 4.5. I think they can overcome the Gamecocks. And then this Texas Tech Oregon State game, Texas Tech scored 130 points over 2 games this year against nobodies. But they will just open up that offense. Big 12 team, and Oregon State can score points, but they're not very good. They gave up 36 to Fresno. They gave up 36 to Fresno and 34 to Cal. They've given up 70 points. They did put up 26 last week against Fresno and had over 500 yards of offense. I don't really like to go over in games at over 60, 61 like this, but it's just a hair over it.
I get it.
And I have him scoring, 65 to 70 points in this game. So I'm going to put that out there. And then real quick on this home barking dog money line parlay. This is, you got to bet these on money lines. It's 2 dogs that are not dogs by much. Tennessee and Georgia Tech. Tennessee's playing Georgia. Georgia Tech is hosting Dumbo, Sweeney. What's his name? I forget what it is, but it's a Sweeney. It's his last name. And he you barely beat Troy last week. I mean, come on, Clemson.
They're not looking good.
So I'm going to take, that quarterback for Georgia Tech and Tennessee and Heupel and the way that he runs the offense. I have both of these teams winning these games outright.
Well, I'm hoping Georgia Tech doesn't.
Well, I know, because you have a future.
I need them to suck.
Yeah. But I think that they're going to give Clemson all they can handle. Now, honest game like
Clemson
this,
hasn't looked good.
You want to bet less money if however your units are, right? Because you're going to get 5-1 if both of these teams win.
Right.
But I like Tennessee at home, ravenous crowd. Georgia's played nobody. Tennessee played Syracuse. I'm not saying Syracuse is that good, but they beat them by 20 points. I think they will score points. I know that Georgia's defense is a whole different animal to face, right? But I do think that they will find a way to, get on the scoreboard. I think they've actually maybe upgraded their quarterback. I'm not sure others would say that. And Georgia lost their quarterback back, right? Yeah. So I just, I think it's worth taking 2 home dogs here.
All right.
For small.
Not bad. So I'm going to not even really, I'll discuss my Vanderbilt pick a little. I'm pretty much right on line with you though. So I'm just kind of going to.
You think O'Leary's with us on that one?
I am 100% sure he is not. We will very most likely get a comment this week from him. Yeah. So I'll start with a Big 12 matchup, K-State at Arizona.
They're probably all these fans are down at Buc-ee's loading up on
the brisket and the sweet tea. I wonder if he's going to this game, by the way.
I don't think he is.
Not this one?
I think he's going to the Oklahoma game.
That's right, Oklahoma. So my first pick is I have Arizona plus 1.5 over Kansas State. It's a Big 12 matchup, K-State at Arizona. Arizona rolls in 2-0. K-State is 1-2, and let's be honest, they could very easily be 0-3. K-State got just ground down by the Black Knights of Army.
They couldn't stop the option.
They couldn't stop him. The Black Knights held the ball for over 40 minutes.
And didn't Tarleton State beat Army?
Yes, because I had a 10
I don't like
I had a 10-team parlay.
And Army was
my 10th.
So that just mystifies me.
I know.
To be honest.
Army was 10 of 22 on third down. They could not stop them and get them off the field. And that defense was gassed.
I think Army, you know what, Scooter? I think Army may have lost their quarterback in week 1 and had to put in a backup who was able to dominate. Like maybe this new guy is going to be the secret for Army to turn their season back after that horrible loss. Yeah.
K-State was 2 of 9 on third down conversions. Arizona, meanwhile, has stacked up 2 home wins. Granted, it was Hawaii and Weber State, but they're hunting obviously for a third win before they head out to Iowa State in week 4. Noah Fafita, I think I got that right. Fafita. He's playing with a ton of confidence. He's got Javen Waitley, his number 1 target. I think that pitch and catch kind of sets the tone here. Again, this pick is more of an indictment on K-State and how bad and how much they've regressed, more than a lot of coronation of Arizona and the Cats being.
What's interesting about this game is I looked at this and was almost going to go the other way on it. And I'll tell you why. K-State sort of outplayed Iowa State, but they just didn't have enough to win that game because Iowa State got the lead early, and it was one of those. It was like a rock
Neutral
fight,
field, but neutral field too.
right,
It was
and a
in
bit of a rock
Ireland,
fight.
right? It was in Ireland.
No, yeah, right. It was it was out of the country, and then K-State came back and faced an opponent that was an FCS opponent, but I think a pretty good one, and they were kind of like in that hangover position. What doesn't make sense. And then they got to go play a team like Army who can run the option. If you can't defend that, you can get chewed up. And their offense was, I think, only on the field for like
again 20 minutes.
It was ridiculous.
A little bit over 20 minutes.
But I think in the second half, it was even like
it was ridiculous in the second
right?
half. Yeah.
So the reason that I said, okay, this is a fresh look. They're going away. They've had a horrible start. They lose a conference game, then they lose this game to Army, and everybody thought. There were people that thought they could win that conference. They were one of the favorites to win the conference. If you want to bet them to win the conference now's the time to do it because you're going to get great odds. So I don't disagree with your pick, but it feels almost too easy to take Arizona.
So it's funny. So the reason I ended up taking Arizona was the 1.5. I just wanted. I didn't want. I'm home. It's a point and a half.
It's almost. That's what I mean. It feels too easy to me.
Right. Because I did kind of go back and forth. But I still think Arizona's passing game is going to be the difference maker in this game, and will keep the clock going, and will push Arizona.
I almost wonder
over.
about this total maybe being an overplay. But anyway, let's move on to
Let's
your
move
second
on. So
pick.
my next game I have the backyard brawl in Morgantown, Pittsburgh at West Virginia. Mountaineers are getting 7 here. I was torn on this one as well, and I was going to pick Pitt. Really, until I started looking at everything. So the more I dug in, the more the home dog just made sense to me. Pitt is 2-0 after 2 extremely easy wins.
Right.
Which to me, this is a classic letdown, and their stock is high because of the inflation of the easy wins that they've had.
Yeah.
I do think Holstein gives them being Pitt the QB edge. However, Pitt's defensive stats are so skewed, I just don't trust them with those cupcake wins.
Yeah.
Now the Mountaineers, they crushed their cupcake as well, and then they lost to Ohio, which I think was.
I was on Ohio actually in the contest.
You were.
They're a difficult team. I mean, they gave Rutgers a ridiculously hard time. And I don't think losing to Ohio on the road is that much of an indictment.
I agree, but I like the fact that they did lose because I think it's going to motivate them more to not lose against Pitt.
And this is a rivalry game.
It is.
I actually like the play. I mean, I think Pitt may be slightly better team on paper, but the situation certainly does. This could be one of those dog plays too that you just bet the money line on West Virginia at 250 to 1 or something.
The line started at 5.5. I'm getting 7 now.
Yeah, so you've got basically some of the sharp players that are on Pitt because they're pushing that line out.
They're pushing the line out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're going against the sharper.
I am.
But no one's sharper than you. So,
no.
Right.
Listen. But I do. I think Pitt can stumble here. I'm catching a touchdown. Feels like a 1-score game to me. I'll take the home dog and the points. And then I also took Vanderbilt over the Gamecocks at 4.5. So I kind of, whereas you are kind of looking at the Virginia Tech comparisons not as strongly, I looked at those a little stronger. So I looked at the offenses between how both offenses fared against Virginia Tech. Vandy put up almost 500 yards. South Carolina put up barely over 300.
Yeah, I told you they didn't look good. I watched some of that game.
Right. So Vandy had the ball for over 30 minutes. South Carolina had it just over 20. So that's my reasoning. Everything else you said about the game I liked, but those were the two biggest things that stood out to me and why I took Vandy over the Gamecocks.
And can we feed the quarterback Sellers, get him to drink some of that sweet tea before the game?
Now listen, I even wrote here. I still respect Sellers. That's South Carolina's lever. But when you stack the VT tape and those splits, this sets up as a 1-score game deep into the fourth. I will take the 5.5.
Right. 4.5.
4.5. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wrote down 5.5 here. So that's what I got.
All right. Move to NFL.
Sure.
All right. So I kind of liked this card this week, but I struggled with which plays to make. So the Raiders are basically a play on their home. The Chargers had a great win last week. The Raiders had a good win last week in New England. The Raiders are home. The Chargers are coming back home from, out of country. It's a division game. I think Pete Carroll will be ramped up for this game, and the fans are going to be ravenous in Las Vegas. And I just like getting a field goal. And it's a Monday night game. The Raiders historically have been good on Monday night, no matter who's coaching them or what team they've got. I know it's a different, it's in Vegas now. We're not in Oakland. We've got coaches, but it just feels to me like the type of game where you grabbing points in a division game at home. That's enough of a system for me right out of the gate to take it. And the Raiders are live to maybe really do damage in that division if they can win this game, right?
They can.
Right. And Geno, I know not everyone likes Geno because he's
not
a
a
little
Geno
bit of
fan.
a gunslinger, but I like him because I think he can create enough chaos to make a game very exciting, and you're going to give me some points with him. The Falcons, this one's a little more of a play against Minnesota. And look, I picked them to win the North. I think JJ McCarthy and O'Connell pulled out that game.
I think O'Connell pulls out that game.
Well, McCarthy made some great plays in the second half once he was unleashed. He really did. But the point I hear is that they won a game. They stole a game from the Bears on a Monday night. And usually when that happens, a lot of times the next week, things are a little bit flat, right? You're coming down from an emotional win. Now you got that rookie quarterback going back out in the field again. Not that Penix is experienced. He's rookie too. He played last year a few games. But they lost a tough game. I think they can stay with most teams, Atlanta. You're going to give me a field goal. And when Minnesota wins, oftentimes they win by one score. It's always a tight game. So this was just give me the 3.5 against Minnesota. I love the points. If Minnesota wins by a field goal, that's a perfect scenario. Then I'm going to go, this is a play that says, I think the Texans offensive line and their offense is going to struggle all season, and Tampa Bay will put enough pressure on them. Todd Bowles is a pretty good defensive coach still, and I think the offense for the Buccaneers is just stronger. I almost would say the wrong team is favored here in a way. Like this feels like a pick'em game, but the Texans still have, kind of like they're home, and it basically is saying it is a pick'em game because of the home field advantage.
Typically 3 points for home.
But I think if this game was on a neutral site, I'd have a slight lean with the Buccaneers. So I give me the 2.5 there, and then I double dog dare you to put your money on the Bears and Jags at plus 675. That is, obviously a small bet. You're not doing a unit on that, but the Jags, I'm high on them this year. The Bengals will, always seem to find a way to make things interesting in their games. They're home. The Jags are 3.5 point dogs here. And then the Bears. Okay, now everyone's down on the Bears right now after what happened the other night. And the Lions were not any better, right? And Dan Campbell's got no coaches and no skill to coach. He's just he's not an engineer. I don't know what I'd call him. He's a guy that just kind of cheerleads, goes for fourth down, gives you a lot of energy on the sidelines, and he's also a tough guy.
He's Pete
right?
Carroll, a little younger.
Yeah, but he's not Pete from a standpoint of, I feel like what Dan Campbell has is the guys respect his toughness.
Yes.
Right? And he's also, I shouldn't call him a cheerleader, but he's also one of those guys that's willing to take, he's got, got that gambling mentality where he's always going to go for it, but he doesn't have the guys that can make the play calls anymore.
No,
right?
I mean, they're coaches now.
Right, all of them. He lost like 7 or 8 coaches. So my view here is that Detroit might win this game, but you don't think Ben Johnson knows Detroit since he was the offensive coordinator? Yes. So now you're going to go in. Now Detroit knows Ben Johnson,
absolutely.
but I think I would rather think that Ben Johnson will know how to handle Detroit more than Detroit will necessarily know how to handle the Bears. They're all going to know how to handle each other from the fact that they're in the same division. And that's the other part of this is a division game. And I'm doing a money line bet that they could pull the upset here with the Jags.
Well, you're
And
getting great value.
and
Obviously.
I can't make myself get to the Lions in survivorship pick this week. I don't
No,
think.
I don't think you can either. So I have Washington plus 3.5 over Green Bay. I'm not sold on Green Bay. I'm not sold on Jordan Love. So
You need a little more data to
I,
get sold on him.
I really do. I like Jane Daniels a lot. I like Washington here on the road getting the 3.5. If it was under, if it was 3 or lower, I probably don't play this game.
Yeah.
But I'll take the
You
hook.
like the hook. Yep.
And I'll take that. Now I have Giants at Dallas. Listen, I think this week with all the stuff that's going on with the Giants, if they don't put up some points, they're that whole I don't know what's going to happen with Dable. I don't know what's going to happen with Russ. If this game goes anything like last week, you're going to have Jackson Dart starting in week 3, and he may not
Chaos,
even,
right.
and it's going to be total chaos. So I really do think the Giants will put up some points against Dallas. And listen, I was impressed like everyone else with how Dallas played against Philly.
Oh yeah.
So, and I saw 44.5. I thought it was relatively a low number. So I went with the over
24-21.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I like the over there. I thought the number was low. And then you've already went over the Buccaneers. Again, we have another pick. And again, we do not discuss our picks beforehand. Tom sends me a photo.
To have 2 out of 6 the same. Yeah.
I know. Tom sends me a photo of what he does. I have, and then I make my own slip. Usually a few hours before he sends me his photo. And then I kind of just had some time, felt like playing around a little bit, and I messed around with some alternate totals. So I pretty much took all the totals and I lowered them anywhere from 3 to 5 points. And took 4 teams, parlayed them together, and threw $20 in it. And got some plus 335.
Right.
It's just a fun bet. Obviously, Washington
They're all
Green Bay,
fun bets, but
over
this one
43.5.
is like a Now I'll tell you on there if I'm concerned about any of those, I think that Denver Indiana game.
I know. I think I went down 5 points on that one.
Yeah, that might struggle to get to 25. I mean, if I play a total this week, I think that total's at like 41.5 or 42. If you don't do the alternate,
Yep.
I might put some money on that under. I did not put it up there as an official play because I tend to be a little concerned about these totals early in the year. And I do think that Denver is going to try to fix the Bo Nix problem and what they did offensively. And I'm not sold on the Colt defense, but I think that this is a game where this game could score 50, right? And you could score 20.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. Now, we didn't mention this during our little segment talking about Denver. We did mention the not kicking the field goal, and they ended up going for a pass play instead of kicking that field goal. And Bo Nix overthrew that guy by 4 yards.
Yeah.
And he was wide open.
Right. I mean, it was, again, where Sean Payton shines is on his ability to develop plays that are going to work. But you have to have execution, and you also have to look at the risk if you don't execute of what you're giving back. And he's so pompous.
It's a horrible decision one way or the other.
Well, he's so pompous.
Yeah,
right?
But the play actually was completely
And I'm a little bit bitter because I laid 8.5 points. Like, there's a little bit of like, kick the freaking field goal, lock the game down.
Yes.
Game's over. And instead you're monkeying around with a chance to have to give the team the ball back. If you want to trust your defense, then punt the freaking ball.
Yes.
Punt it, put him back on the 5-yard line.
5 or whatever.
Don't give him the ball at the 40-yard line.
Well, those are our bet slip for this week. Again, as always, I'll throw them up on Instagram. Couple of coaches already on the hot seat. Obviously, we've already mentioned Brian Dable. What could happen if he doesn't lose?
Right.
If
he doesn't win, you mean?
When
Yeah.
or at least if the team doesn't
be effective,
look,
right?
if the team looks the way they did last week. Then I have Mike McDaniel up here. Rex had some lovely words of wisdom for Mr.
Rex.
Genius, Rex Ryan on ESPN.
How many times has he been fired?
Twice.
So he's got words of wisdom for other coaches. Is that what you're saying?
It's kind of like that Lombardi guy.
Yes,
He's,
yes,
he's
yeah.
calling them in.
Let me give you word. Let me step into my office.
Let me tell you what you're doing wrong.
Well, why don't you tell us what you're doing right in North Carolina, Michael?
Oh. But obviously, Mike McDaniel, that team looked, that game, that everything about that.
I think they're going to come back and take New England down this week. Believe it or not, I really do.
I listen. I don't think he's that bad. I don't know what's going on. My biggest fear is Tua. I mean, the guy's one hit away.
Yeah,
from,
I know, and he may be. That may affect his play. Right.
That's the only thing you worry about week one, right?
Yeah.
Is this because of all the hits, or is this just a one-off? If it's about the hits, it's going to continue. If it's a one-off, then yeah, I could totally see them crushing New England. I want them to. I have them over 8.5 wins. Right now, they're not getting to 4 wins, let alone 9.
And I got the alternate under on New England, under 6.5.
Under 6.5.
And
our
then buddy Tyler Ferris is not going to be happy with this. He's a big New England guy. I think.
I'm okay with that though.
and then by the way, Brian Callahan,
mm-hmm.
he's on the warm seat as a bonehead, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make that mistake as a head coach. You cannot know.
By the way, you realize we didn't add this. He later tried to backpedal and said he misspoke. So he compounded the problem.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. This is what I've read again, right? That he basically made a decision to not challenge because he made a statement that you needed to have at least a foot in with your elbow.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I listened to the press conference. He was pretty clear that that's what
apparently
he thought.
he then declared that he might have misspoken. So this is like now he's backing up on the accountability, and that usually gets you in trouble. Right?
If I had known that worm would be
John
hot.
LaBianca's a big Titans fan. I would love to hear his
we may have to reach out.
This. Yeah. Well, maybe he'll give us some comments.
And you know what? I'll ask him for another class so you can get one. So those are our coaches, early coaches hot seat little ticker that we'll keep following. We didn't do the golf.
The golf, right?
This week I didn't break anything down. I will tell you I looked at the Procore Championship. The only one I would probably do anything with, maybe a top 10 pick, would be Russell Henley. I like him in this course from a fit standpoint. However, he is in the Ryder Cup. All the Ryder Cup guys are there. This could go really any which way.
Yeah,
and with them, I don't know if they're trying to warm up. I don't know if they're really going to try to win
something, right?
They could be working on things as opposed to trying to win this thing. Again, these fall FedEx Cup fall tournaments really are for the guys that don't have cards secured, other than the 10 out of the 12 guys that are freaking playing in the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So I can see all 10 just kind of working on things and not trying to make the cut per se. They do, but maybe not trying to win a tournament. I don't know. Or they could just
if you're betting that, you almost want to bet a lesser player for round one lead or something like that, right? But I did bet on not that tournament, but there is the BMW PGA Championship in England, which has the
11,
other side,
11 of the 12
11 other than Straka, and there are 5 guys basically. Billy Horschel has won it 2 of the last 5 years. Ryan Fox won it 1 year. Shane Lowry won it, and Hatton. And I went and I looked, and I don't really like Horschel. I don't think he's played well this year.
He hasn't. He is playing in it. And what about Patrick Reed?
I did not bet Patrick Reed.
He might have a little statement.
I did not bet Patrick Reed.
He's not happy about not getting a captain's pick. Not that he deserved it, by the way.
Oh, he wanted to be a captain's pick?
On the Ryder Cup, yeah.
So you think he might be trying to prove something?
Yeah.
Well, I did not do that. Although that's an interesting angle.
I am going to throw some. I am going to throw some pizza money on him just because I've read that
actually, because now it's kind of like he feels, and that's when he performs best is when it's him against the world, right?
Or he cheats. So either way, he could win.
Right. Yeah, the cheating part of it can always come in handy. Shane Lowry, Tyrrell Hatton, former champs. Lowry has just watched Rory win the Irish Open. He just watched Tommy Fleetwood win the Tour Championship. 2 of his best buddies. I think maybe this could be a week where he's like a little more motivated, and you give me 27-1. And then I've always got to have a little bit on Tyrell Hatton because I feel like he's always in the mix, and at some point he's breaking through. So threw a little bit on both of those guys.
To win?
To win. 20 to 1 and
I
27
went for a little money on Hatton for like a top 10.
Yeah, you won't get great odds.
No, but you'll get something. Again, you and I tend to have different points of view on that. So I like to win money.
Play.
You like the value.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up episode week. That wraps up this week. Episode 13 is in the books. Next week we have
and I just got a report that Mike Gundy, Brian Callahan, John Payton, and Philly's Karen. Maybe I'll be listening to this podcast this week.
That's breaking news right there, everyone. Episode 13 in the books. Tom, as always, thank you. And we will catch you all next week.